everyone, and welcome to the Batty for Books Readathon announcement. So this has been many months in the making. I've been thinking for quite a while now on how I can do a year-long readathon. So I decided to go ahead with it this year. This will be Batty for Books, and all of the money correlated via merchandise sales or straight up donations will be donated to the Bat Conservation Trust. As you all know, I am a massive lover of bats on this channel, and it seemed only fitting that my first ever readathon should be centred around the conservation for bats. I will have a Just Giving page linked down below, as well as the link for the Bat Conservation Trust if you want to donate directly to them. You can do it via per book or every 100 pages, however you want to do it. And of course there is a prize for whoever completes the most books during the year-long readathon. I have put together a bingo board and will now go through all of the prompts on the board. You can complete this board as many times as you like. The point system will be as follows. It will be 20 points per completed book. It will be 30 points for LGBTQIA+, or BIPOC rep, or disability rep. Each book that has bats centred around the story or has a bat on the cover will be worth 40 points. And it will be 100 points for completing the board each time you complete. There will be a multitude of sprints throughout the year, as well as mini readathons. These mini readathons, you stick to the prompts that are on the board, but for every book you complete, the points will be doubled. So it is very worth it if you complete as many books as possible, or if you have as much rep as possible, however you want to do it. There is no minimum page count. There will be a tracking sheet in order for you to log which books you have completed, and it will be one prompt per book. You cannot double up, you cannot triple up. The only points that will change are during the mini readathon or any rules for the mini readathons, but these will be announced ahead of time and will only be for those durations. There is also a Discord that I have set up so we can keep each other motivated and drop in some recommendations and all that jazz, and I will link everything that you need down below. There is also a sign up sheet. Please make sure that you use this sign up sheet and that you actually officially sign up for this readathon. Otherwise, any books that you track will not be completed, will not be logged, or will not be accepted. There will be official merchandise, as I previously mentioned, but this will be announced later on in the year. I have already designed them, so it's just making sure that I go the right route in order to do the merchandise and lock everything down that I need to. The winner who reads the most books during this readathon will get a amount of items off their wish list that I will be purchasing for them, and the amount will be determined later on, but it will be a minimum value of £40. So without further ado, let's go check out this bingo board. So I've kept all these prompts pretty generic, I'd like to say, so even if you don't read horror or anything like that I read on my channel, you can still make it work for you. The first square is paranormal. This could be anything. This could be a cozy mystery with a witch on the cover or anything like that. As long as it's paranormal, it fits. Next one is spooky middle grade. This can be spooky or spoopy. It could just be a really cute graphic novel. It could be a full length novel like It from Stephen King. So it all depends on what you want to read for that square, but everything will count as long as it's a tiny little spooky. Black and white cover is the next one, and this has to be predominantly black and white, but it can have other colours on the cover as well. It's all up to your own interpretation. I will not be releasing any of these, so bend it and flex it however you like, but don't take liberties. The next one is horror or a thriller. That's pretty self-explanatory. The next one is thing that scares you on the cover. This could be anything from having a Grim Reaper, if you're scared of death, or spiders, or a snake, or generally anything that scares you. As long as it scares you and it's on the cover, then that counts. Next is monster on the cover. This can be a literal monster, or this can just be a bad character or a villain. Whatever you state as a monster that you think, then it counts. It could just be a dark romance, and monster on the cover would count. A book about magic. This can be anything from a non-fiction, like a spell book, or it could just have the word magic on the cover. As long as it's about magic, or what you deem would be magical, then it counts. The next is blood on the cover. Pretty self-explanatory, pretty straightforward. The next one is dark sprayed edges. Anything can count for this, whatever you deem dark. It could be black, it could be grey, it could be a dark shade of red or dark shade of green. Whatever you count as dark and it's on the sprayed edges, it counts. It doesn't have to be the predominant colour, but it does have to have a lot of that colour on the sprayed edges. Next is creepy setting. This could be for anything, if it's someone on their own in the woods, or if it's an abandoned house, or if they're just home alone. Whatever you deem a creepy setting, then that counts. Next is ghost or spirit. This could be a story centered around ghosts or spirits, or they could just be on the cover. So any of that will count. The next square is supernatural powers. So anything that wouldn't be deemed natural, then that's a supernatural power. This could be anything from flying to spells to running really fast, and I don't just mean Linford Christie fast, I mean like supernatural fast. Or it could be turning yourself invisible, it could be literally anything. Next up is pretty self-explanatory one, is watch a spooky movie. This could be anything that you find spooky. This could be a horror, or this could have something that scares you, like death or something in the movie. And it could literally be anything what you deem yourself as spooky. The next one is fall vibes. This could be the colour, this could be a creepy book, this could be fall leaves on the cover. Literally whatever you deem fall vibes. It could literally be a cozy mystery or anything like that. Then whatever deems to you as fall vibes, then perfect. And yes, just blanket on the cover would count as well. Next one is black cat on the cover. Pretty self-explanatory there. Doesn't matter if it's a tiny little cat on a massive cover, as long as it's on there somewhere, then it counts. Book with a murder. This could be just generalised mention on, say, if someone's moving into a town that has recently had a murder in it, but it doesn't get mentioned at all anywhere else in the book, then it totally counts. Or it could be centered around a murder. Skull on the cover is really self-explanatory. That could be anything, but just having people on the cover will not count. It literally has to be an image of a skull, just anywhere on the cover. It could even be in the publisher's logo. I don't know if it's a publisher with a skull, but if it did exist, then any of their books would totally count. Next is haunted or abandoned house. and this could be literally a home that the main character is moving out of, so it would therefore count because when they leave it, it will be abandoned. I try to generalise this as much as I possibly can, but obviously if you can stick a haunted or abandoned house in there that's totally spooky, then all the better. The next one is mixed media. This is emails, text messages, newspaper clippings. As long as it's something different from the main storyline, just words on a page, then it counts. Next one is published in October, pretty self-explanatory. Doesn't have to be a spooky book, could be a romance, could be a non-fiction. As long as it's published in October, then it counts. An isolated setting doesn't necessarily mean isolated for you. It could be a bunch of people that are isolated together somewhere. It has to be a isolated setting in the general sense. So maybe a cabin in the mountains and you're snowed in, or whatever if you're on your own or with a group of people. As long as it's isolated in some way, then that'll do. Eat or drink something spooky. This could be a general Halloween treat, or you can have something green or red, either with food or with liquid. Say if you drink limeade, for instance, and you want to post a picture of your green drink, then that's totally spooky. Next is weapon on the cover. Anything that can be used for a weapon will totally count for this. Next is spooky graphic novel. Again, whatever you deem spooky, then that counts. Next one is serial killer. This could be centered around a storyline, or it could be a non-fiction delving into a serial killer's background. It could even be a podcast. It doesn't matter. I don't mind if you do audiobooks for these, if you do podcasts, or if you do just general books. Let me know what you've done, what type of media that will be in the form, and we're good to go. Next is body part on the cover. This can be a sawn off body part that's on its own, or this could just be the fact that there are people on the cover. Obviously they have body parts and they're on the cover, so they'll completely count. Next one up is classic. This word, anything you deem to be a classic. It could be Frankenstein, Wuthering Heights, Christmas Carol, anything that you would deem to be classic, even if it's a modern classic like Get a Life Chloe Brown, for instance, or something that you think is going to become a classic, then you can count that for that. Next one is featuring a creepy child or a doll. This is pretty self-explanatory. My one fear, apart from clowns, is dolls that move by themselves. So anything that would feature a doll or a creepy child in it, then that completely counts. Then the last but one is closest to 666 pages. Obviously 666 is the devil's number, so I had to include this one. It doesn't matter if it's below or over. The closest you can get to 666 totally counts. It doesn't matter if it's 400 and odd or if it's 500 and odd. If it's the biggest that you can get from your TBR, then it counts. I will allow it. And the last one, pretty self-explanatory, is just to read in the dark. As we all know, the atmosphere is everything in a book, and doesn't matter what you're reading, if you read something in the dark, it totally makes things scarier and spookier. So that's it. That is it for our bingo board. That's it for the announcement. I do hope you'll be joining me for this year-long readathon, and just have fun with it. If you need any questions asked, please join the Discord, link down below. All the information you need to find will be in the description box. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe, chat to me down below. leave me a comment. Are you going to be joining me for this readathon or not? Or if you just think this is a great announcement, let me know. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye!